Good morning, muscle mommies and muscle daddies. I didn't prep today, and I am just going to be talking about whatever comes to mind, winging it completely, and I have to release this episode tomorrow. So that's what we're doing. It's because last week I grinded to get the vulvas, vibrators, and vulnerability episode out, which, by the way, go watch it. And because of me grinding that and then going on vacation, I basically fucked myself and now have to record for tomorrow. I'm recording on my new camera. I'm so freaking excited. I'm sipping my iced vanilla latte. We're back to the iced vanilla lattes during recording time. So that means I'm basically going to be wired. I bought this camera and I'm so excited about it because, oh my God, since I was about 16 years old, I was always kind of into photography. I never had obviously like, the money to get a camera because I was so young. And so I used to use my parents' like little camera. It was like I think it was like a what's that brand called? Lumix? Hopefully that's correct. I don't know. But I remember using their camera and I used to use it here and there. And then my friend had a camera and I was like, "Oh, this is sick." She had a Canon Rebel T5i and I was like, "I need this camera." And I just remember being so obsessed that I still remember like looking into the viewfinder for like the first time just being like, "Wow." Um it was amazing. And then I bought myself that camera. I got some money for my birthday, bought myself a little camera set, and that camera I used for everything. Like I had photography classes and I use that. I honestly like forget what I've learned from photography classes, so don't ask me about like the right mix of ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. Like can't do it yet. The point is like I had this camera for so long. It's actually behind me. It's right over there. And then finally, like the dream was always to get like a really nice camera. And then when I decided like I want to take, vlogging to the next level a little bit more and recording like taking pictures to the next level, whether it was for my brand or just like I just wanted a camera that was like tiny, compact, I could bring it everywhere. So I got the Canon G7X, use that a lot. That's what I've been using, but I could only record up to 30 minutes. And then I was like, all right, I'm podcasting this. I want to be my like, part of my full-time career one day and I need to upgrade. Like this is a must because I need to start recording for over 30 minutes and I was like, I think I'm ready to make my first big girl camera purchase. Do I really have a bunch of money coming in like right now? No. But I was like, this I need to do it. So I bought this camera. It's a Sony A6700 with a Sigma 18 to 50 millimeter lens. And I just went to B&H Photo, which is like the best place on earth, and they suggested this one to me. I got to try it out and then I bought it. And I am just like so happy. I took pictures in Lake George this weekend with it. I'm just beyond words. And I think the reason why I'm not only just so happy, like, look at this beautiful camera, it's like this is my first big girl camera purchase, but it's not just like, oh, this is the first time I've come up with this money to buy a camera because I'm actually probably I'm like almost the brokest I've ever been right now, but this is the first time where I've really like made a purchase that's something that like I have to now create with it. It's like I'm investing in myself by buying the camera. Like I'm showing myself that like yes, like the same way like when I bought this mic. Like I'm like okay, here I am. I'm going to podcast by myself all of the supplies. Okay, here I am. Now I'm going to film these podcasts. Now I'm also going to be using this for my brand. I'm going to get this camera and now I actually have to like use it. Like this is what it's for. And so it's not just like you save up your money to buy a bag, like a designer bag. It's like you're saving up your money to buy something that you now have to create with and you have to keep following the dreams that you say you're going to follow. And I think that's part of following your dreams, like how they always say like make sure like follow your dreams, it's all that matters, follow your dreams. They always tell you that growing up, and I feel like most of the time we never actually follow our dreams because we don't think realistically when we work things out in our head that it's going to work, that we're going to be able to make a living off of it. And it does take a very long time to actually make a living off of your passions. But I think what ends up happening is we see how much our dreams cost. And it's a lot of money we're spending and not a lot of kickback. And I guess what I mean by that is like I'm building a brand, Muscle Mommy, and I'm not getting sales. So here I am spending all this money trying to figure out how to market, trying to figure out how to do taxes, doing my finances, all these different things. And like I just keep having to spend money and betting on myself, betting on my brand, betting on my company that I'm going to get it back one day. But like, you really have no idea if you're going to get it back. You never do. So you can just be spending all this money, nothing ever happens, you end up giving up on it. And I think that's where everybody is just like, well, what's the point then if this doesn't actually work out one day? And I think to that I would say the only way it won't work out is if you stop trying. Like, the only way you fail is if you stop trying. If you're always trying, you're never going to fail. Like, you're never failing as long as you're trying. Going off of that, what I've been struggling with lately is I'm at this weird, I don't know, I think going in between college, like going home from college, going back to college, it's been weird at times because since I have a brand and a lot of my stock is at home, it's hard because I'm like, I don't know how to sell things from college if I don't have the materials here with me. Or it was just very confusing. And having to go back and forth made me feel like, okay, I am a full-time student and I'm teaching full-time. I have no time for my brand. This is brutal. But, I'm making a little bit of money, so this is also good. But I'm not following my dreams. I'm not doing what I want to be doing. That was really tough. And so now I'm home. I'm nannying, but I can, like, use my time. I have good hours, so it's like I can use the other time to podcast and work on my brand. But then now I go to Bullock. So Bullock is basic officer leadership course for the Army, and that's basically I'm going to logistics Bullock, and that's because I'm going to be a quartermaster in the Army. And point is, it's a 6-month school. I go from October to February. I'm going to school learning how to be a quartermaster, learning how to be a leader. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you right now. I'll tell you when I come back what I learned. But that's what I'm going to be doing in October. So I'm at this weird part of like, do I have to put my life on hold again? Like, do I have to put my brand on hold again? And to that, I know I won't be putting my brand on hold, but it makes you feel like you can't almost like start what you want to start because you're either going back to college or you're, in my scenario, going to Bullock. And it feels weird because I don't know when to start and where to start. I need to be in something that is like psychological, and it could even just be this. Like, to me, sitting here talking about mindset or talking about whatever I want to talk about is something where I feel very connected to, and I really, really love it. I love the idea of researching things and teaching things to people. I love the idea of me using my own lived experiences and testing my own vulnerability to then help other people by talking about it on a mic. But what gets difficult is betting on yourself. It can get very difficult because we see people on paper with like they've moved out. Let's say they have a job that pays this amount of money, or they live in this place and I live here. Whatever the scenario is, it's like we see at this age from like 20 to 30, we see a lot of on paper moves. Like, this is what they're doing. It gives you this weird feeling of like, should I just go get a job? Like, just get a dependable salary? Should I just like go do that and give up on this? And like, maybe that's more stable. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this actually isn't going anywhere. And I think that thought eats people alive. And that's why we end up going into the job we don't want to go into, where we're so scared of quitting our job or being broke. We're so scared of maybe even like hitting rock bottom or like going into debt that we are going to let ourselves suffer on the daily in a job we don't actually want to be in, which is so horrible. And I don't want to give into that. Like, I don't want to get an unfulfilling job and then lose sight of my goal to take my brand to the highest potential that it has. What's difficult also with graduating college, and this is something that I'm sure everybody experiences, is like you are always being asked by people, so what are you doing now? What is your plan? And not to say that like this is a bad question, but it's a question that it's like everybody's default. It's our kind of like our icebreaker when we talk to people like, oh, so what are you doing for work? Because sometimes when you don't even know somebody, you want to get a feel of like what they actually like. Turns out a lot of people don't get a job that they actually like, so it tells you nothing about them. But even people you do know, you want to have a little update on your life. You want to know where they're at. And oftentimes we look at people's career as like their telltale sign of like where they're at in life. Oh, this is how much money they're making, this is their relationship status. And we kind of all just chalk it up to like this is what it looks like on the outside, but we're not actually looking at what's going on the inside. Is this person actually happy? Is this person fulfilled? Is this person growing? It's odd that we judge so easily on what's going on the outside, and because we judge, we end up judging our not only other people but ourselves. And that's what ends up being our killer of our dreams. Like we end up killing our own dreams because we settle for that job, we settle for a stable income when it's not even something we really want to be doing, or it's a job that is just an unhealthy environment. We settle because we would rather that than nothing. And I always say how I think about it in relationship terms. Like we stay with somebody and maybe it's not the best. They're not like the best, but we stay with them because we'd rather be with them than be without them, like be alone. Because being alone is scary. Being alone means you're single. You almost feel that you're now thrown back into the ocean for another person to catch you. And it's scary because you've had so many experiences of, I'm getting deep right now. You've had so many experiences of the wrong fisherman trying to get you, and it's torture sometimes, and you come out of it like, what the fuck was that? Like genuinely, I don't want to go through that ever again. And then when you get thrown back into the water, you're so scared because you don't want to get picked up by the wrong person again. I think that's why we shy away from breakups, and I think that's why we shy away from breaking up with the person you know you shouldn't be with, or just the idea of actually being alone, whether it's alone with your thoughts or not in a relationship with somebody. We're scared of going back into the ocean. And now that I'm like saying this more, it kind of reminds me of how like when I was in a relationship, I was definitely scared of being single, and I never saw that for myself. I felt so good being single before I had a boyfriend. I felt very fulfilled, and I thought, this is good. I'm going into a relationship feeling fulfilled, being alone. So that means if I need to get out of this relationship, then I know me being single is a very fulfilling life, and I do amazing when I'm single, so I'll be fine. And that was all true, because I am doing really, really well. But when you're in the relationship, then the thought of like the heartbreak of like, fuck, we have to break up, and this means that like he was not the one, and now I have to go find someone else. And when I was trying to find someone else, it took me so long, and I ran into so many people I didn't like, and this one fucked me over, and this one fucked me over. And I don't want to go do that. Like, why can't he just change? Why can't he just be the one? I don't want to do all that work again. I don't want to go through heartbreak. I don't want to have to feel my feelings. This is so uncomfortable. We stay away from becoming single because we have now created a comfortable spot for us, and as unstable as it is, we feel a stability to it in a way. It's like this thing of like, all right, I have a boyfriend, so I'm like farther along in my life. It's like this weird concept that we think that like if somebody's in a relationship, if someone's married, they've got it all together. Like they've found their person, they're good. So I relate this to jobs because I think we think, okay, I've found a job, it pays good, so I'm good. Like I'm good in the job department. I have something to tell people. I get a steady pay. It's not that bad. I'm chill. We're good. But I don't want to just be chill and good. I want to go into work more times than not feeling extremely fulfilled, feeling like I have a purpose there, and feeling like I am working on the things that scratch my brain. I love mental health. And I think when I get back from Bullock, I'm going to start looking into somehow getting into the mental health field, but using the education degree I already have instead of going to get another degree. I do want a degree in mental health, maybe clinical psychology. I don't know yet. I'm going to try to figure that out. I want to figure out how to use the degree I have right now to get a job so I could be doing something that I like, but also using the degree I have. But I don't want to settle for teaching in a classroom because as much as it is fulfilling to me, I see myself wanting to dive into mental health a lot more than I want to dive into math curriculum. Do I feel like I have a purpose when I'm teaching? Absolutely. I feel like I have a huge purpose when I'm teaching, but I feel like my purpose can be even more fulfilling to not just the kids, but me myself if I was researching mental health and figuring out ways to help children feel safe and emotionally regulate themselves and all those kinds of things. So if I'm doing that, I would feel a lot better. And so that's where teaching is great. I love it. But I know I can go higher. And I think a lot of times with people in jobs, they're like, all right, it's not that bad. I do feel fine doing this, but you know you can go higher. It's like in your relationship, you're okay, yeah, this is all right, but I know I deserve more. And but you don't know what that looks like, because how could you possibly know? Like everything is uncertain, but you know you can go higher. But it's like really just betting on yourself and betting on the universe, and if you're religious, betting on God to carry you and get you to that place. But if you don't make a bet, like if you don't kind of take that steering wheel and like bring yourself to that place, you may never get it. And I think if you just give up, that's when you're going to live a life that's just filling up your cup a little bit. It's not filling your cup all the way. I don't want to live a life like that. I can't. I think with the way my brain is, I need that like stimulation of learning something and diving into something to really feel fulfilled where I'm at. I'm reading Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, and it's an amazing book. I'm only like 60 pages in and I love it. And I can't find the exact line of what he says, but he talks about how he's having a conversation with someone and they talk about like having an achievement or like a goal. Do you want to get a degree in psychology because you want to be able to say, yeah, I have a PhD in psychology? Or do you want to get the degree in psychology because you want the experience to learn about psychology? So now I'm remembering exactly what the example was, but basically he talks about how they're looking at a monk that can meditate for like 7 to 8 hours. And someone's like, I wish I could meditate for 7 to 8 hours. And it's like, do you wish that you could meditate for 7 to 8 hours just so you can say that you can do it? And that would be a pretty cool thing that you can do? Or is it because you want the experience of learning how to meditate for 7 to 8 hours? So isn't that like, it really puts things in perspective. It's how much of our goals are we truly like wanting, and how much of it is because so you can tell people it. You know, you want a boyfriend so you could say I have a boyfriend sometimes. Like you want a job that pays $100,000 so you could just say I make $100,000. I, with my company, will always say how like in my mind I have these things where I'm like, do I want to create a gym? Do I want to create a storefront? And then I come down to the idea that like I want to create a community, I want to create a message, and I want to help girls that are scared to go to the gym. I want to help girls that feel insecure in their bodies. And then I come to this thing of like, you know what, like maybe a storefront is in the cards for me one day, and like maybe that's where I'll be headed towards, or maybe it is creating a gym. Whatever I'm headed towards, I have these really big goals. And it's not because I just want to say I have a brand that makes like millions of dollars. You know, it's not to say, oh, I just want to be rich one day. I want all of the hard work that comes with growing my business. Like that is truly why I want it. And it's not just to be rich and to make millions. It's like to help people. And it's going to take so much work, so much time, so much of everything to put myself into this, that even if it were to never make that much money, I would still be happy. And that's where I think taking that risk is not always a risk people want to take, because maybe they don't want the thing they're talking about that bad. They just want to do it because they think it sounds cool. It reminds me of in high school when everyone wanted to just go to a college that sounded like a really good college, because that's how it kind of was. You always wanted to be like, yeah, I'm going to this college. Yeah, I'm going here. Yeah. But really, like none of us were actually looking at colleges based on the major that we wanted. So I ended up picking SUNY Cortland because I wanted to be a teacher. And it's one of the best education schools in New York. So I picked it based on that. And I also looked at money and I was like, this is going to be my best option. Where I think some people will choose places based on anything but their major. Like basically the reason why they're picking it for any other reason but the reason why they're actually there. Maybe it's the party scene, maybe it's the campus. And I remember visiting JMU and I was astonished by it, absolutely in love. I asked the tour guide about the education program and I barely got an answer. And it was like, oh, like, yeah, like I don't know, it just wasn't great. And then it was so expensive too to go there. And I was absolutely mesmerized by this place. But, I just realized like that's not, no matter how mesmerized I could be by these big schools, like that doesn't mean that this is where I have to be and where that this school is actually going to get me where I need to be. Maybe it'll give me the social life and the party life I was looking for, but that's something that you could find at any college. Like there's always going to be a party. So I think that's the hard part about being in high school is a lot of things are centered towards what college you're going to go to and how it sounds when you say it to people. And then once you get into college, it's what major you are. But then when you graduate and let's say you don't want to use your major, then you're like, it sounds cool to have this major. And then now it's what job sounds cool? What job is going to get me the money? Not like what job is actually going to fill me? What job am I going to sit at every day or be at every day where I actually feel like I'm learning something and growing from it. That's where I think these trends follow us, but they're just different things. First it's college, then it's your major, then it's your career choice, and then it's like your relationship status. Oh, then it's where are you living? And what does your apartment look like? Do you live in a house? Do you still live with your parents? And it just becomes how much money do you make a year? And it just becomes this whole like status thing. And we're not actually looking inwards of like what is actually going to satisfy me. Because I truly believe if you follow your passions, you will be rich, and not rich the money kind, like you will be fulfilled type of rich. And if you are with someone who is not giving you what you deserve, then being alone is better. If you're in a job that's not really doing much for you, it's actually hindering your growth, it's an environment that you don't enjoy being in, then you are not growing. You're just settling right now. And that's tough to take action when you realize that because, again, money, stability, you got to like rock the boat to then grow, which, I mean, all growth happens by rocking the damn boat, getting out of your comfort zone and popping that bubble of comfortability. For me, I always know this is going to be something that's stable for me. I'm always going to be podcasting. I'm always going to be working on my brand. And what gets me down sometimes is on social media, you're seeing a lot of the people who have made it. And when I say made it, like the people who are making money off of their passions, the people that are influencers, and you can see they're making money. I mean, you really can't see it. You think you see it because you see them going on vacations, but you actually don't know how much debt they're in. Anyways, but you're seeing these people and maybe their businesses that have blown up, and you're just like, you're only seeing it at their most famous, and you're like, wow, like, am I ever going to get there? And like, why am I not there yet? But you're not seeing all the work it took of years and years and years of them trying to get recognition or getting sales in their store. You're not seeing any of that. You're just seeing them at their peak. So you can't compare yourself. Like you can't compare your day one to someone's day 1000. Same thing with working out. You can't compare your day one to someone's day 1000. And that's hard when you're finding jobs. That's hard when you're working for your passions, when you're building a brand, because you genuinely just think, my podcast still hasn't popped off. I'm confused. Like, why is everybody else able to make money off podcasting? You don't even know what it took for them to get there. So don't compare your journeys. We're all on different journeys. And like, I know some people barely did shit. Like they posted one video, it went viral, and now they came to fame by mistake, and you are doing anything but coming to fame by mistake. It is so intentional for you. I get it. I think we all have to recognize that like everybody's on a different path, and if you are following your passions and the things that fulfill you, you will be fulfilled. You will be content. You will be wanting to wake up and actually go to work. If we keep pushing that, then we'll be a lot happier. We'll be a lot more fulfilled. But if we keep pushing the high salaries, the jobs that look good on paper, the relationship status that just feels good to say, then we're not going to truly be in something that makes us feel good. I think a lot of people my age talk about timeline. I think I've heard the discussion of what age you want to get married by, what age you want to have kids by. It is such a popular topic. What age do you want to get married by? What age do you have kids by? It's just something we all think about. We always will say like, I want to be married by 28, kids by 30, whatever it is. But I feel like we're never just basing it on where we are in our life. Like we're never just like, I want to have kids when I just feel is ready. Like whenever that, when I'm with a person, I feel that's good. I'm financially stable enough to take a kid into this world. We're always just like, well, I want it by 28, but we don't even know where we're going to be at 28. So I think if we stop thinking about timelines too, oh, I want to have a significant other by 30 because then I need to get married and then I need to have kids. Like if we just cut the timeline bullshit and just focus on like where we actually are in our lives, then we could start to take off the pressure on ourselves to find somebody. Because when you have pressure to find a job, to find a significant other, that's when you start making decisions that are either going to set you farther back or they're going to be decisions that you end up regretting because you needed to meet this timeline, you needed to meet this status. And then you look around and you're like, what the fuck did I do? How did I get here? It reminds me of when I was in high school and I was like, all right, when I get to college, I'm going to lose my virginity. And the first year of college went by and I'm like, okay, it's going to be sophomore year, guys. Like, I'm going to lose it this year. Sophomore year went by. All right, like junior year, I have to lose it. And I'm like, if I don't lose by senior year, I really like don't even know what's going to happen. Like, what the hell if I don't lose it by senior year? I ended up having sex for the first time at the end of my senior year. But what was interesting is it was always a timeline. It was always, I need to lose it by this age. I need to lose by 21. I need to lose it by 20. I need to lose it by whatever year. And what was that based on? That was based on just so I could say I lost it. Just so I can have like, okay, I've lost it. I can now be in conversations and bring my sex experience to the table and actually talk about it and be involved. And it was like this weird thing. You could do that with significant others too. Like if you're saying, oh, I need to have a boyfriend by this year. I need to have a boyfriend by this age. We're rarely saying, I'm excited to have sex for the first time when it's with somebody who I feel really connected to. We're rarely saying, I'm excited to have a significant other when it's the right time for me in my life. We're always attaching it to an age or a spot or a career that is supposed to be like some marker of where we're at in our life and forgetting totally about the internal worlds that we live in. And I think that's really just like, I don't know, that's just, I think it's a weird thing we've gotten used to, and I'm trying to kind of cut the shit because if I base my life on a timeline, then I'm just going to constantly pressure myself, and pressuring myself is going to only make it harder for me in the long run. To end this episode, we are going to pick out of the self-love deck. I could link this in my Amazon storefront. See, now I have one of those, so I could do those kinds of things. And it's from We're Not Really Strangers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask these questions. I'm going to answer them, but these questions are also for you to ask yourself. So if you guys want to pause when I ask them, you can. If you don't want to listen to my answers, you don't have to. But I'm going to ask them first, and then I'll answer after. Oh, these are fucking deep. This is level 2, and level 2 is the present. So there's past, present, and future. Here we go. This is level 2, present. What's your way of loving people the wrong way? I'm going to read the second one. So if you want to pause it, pause it. This is level 1, the past. What have you grown to love about yourself? And level 3, the future. What do you finally feel ready for? Oh, these are like really good. And these were totally blindly taken out of the deck. All right, if you guys want to listen to my answers, here we go. The first one, what's your way of loving people the wrong way? Oh, God. This is like about to fuck me up. Okay. I would say my way of loving people the wrong way is loving them into changing them. When I realize that I'm being treated wrong, like whether I'm being disrespected, manipulated, whatever it is, like I think when I realize that, I, instead of think I need to leave, I think they need to change and we need to figure this out. And it ends up becoming more harmful to me and more emotionally draining. I've been in a few relationships, friendships, and then a romantic one where I genuinely just felt that if I can show them how much I love them, they will be able to show it back to me. And it never ends up working like that, like literally ever. And I think that just comes from like, you have to understand that like people change for themselves. And if they won't change for themselves and they won't break their own patterns, then there's going to be no change for you guys together. The next one I read was level 1, the past. What have you grown to love about yourself? I have grown to love my vulnerability. I'm so scared of vulnerability sometimes, being like, I feel this and this actually hurts me. I hated to admit that things hurt me. I hated to cry in front of people and just let people know that I was hurting. And I went through a heartbreak from a friend. That was the weird part. Like, felt I fell in love with the best friend, and then I was heartbroken because we didn't end up together. And I remember feeling like I had to heal in silence because I wasn't a real relationship. And, there wasn't actually, we never were in a relationship. So I felt like I can't just say, like right now, I could say, hey, I'm going through a breakup. But like before, it's like, you say I'm going through a heartbreak and people are like, oh, so you broke up with someone? No, no, fell in love with somebody and I was never dating them. So it's like this weird, you know, this weird like healing in silence. And this time around, breaking up with someone, I decided like I'm not gonna heal in silence. I'm gonna talk about it on my podcast endlessly. I'm gonna write poems about it and I'm gonna help other people and validate them because that's something that I need. And so what I do in turn is like if I need the validation that it's okay to feel things this far out, which again, I'm not even that far out, 6 months, but like I tell myself that it's okay to feel these things. And then I in turn try to preach it to you guys so you understand that like it's okay for you too. And you're not alone if you still feel down bad about someone or something. And I think just me coming on this mic all the time and being extremely vulnerable, talking about literally anything on my mind has helped me grow so much. Like insane. Okay. And then level 3, future, what do you finally feel ready for? I think I'm ready to take on being a leader in the army. I think I always doubted my leadership and when I was in ROTC because the people in my class I felt kind of overpowered. Not the people just in my class in ROTC, but also like even at camp, advanced camp, I felt that I was easily overpowered by egos, and it definitely put me down at times. And talking to cadets about mental health definitely is not an easy thing, and you're going to get a lot of laughs and you're going to get a lot of eye rolls. And once I realized that this is actually one of my strengths is bringing mental health to people who think talking about mental health means that you're weak. But when I made decisions to stand up in front of people and talk about it or made decisions to bring feelings charts into staff meetings, that's when I had to push through a lot of people's opinions and silent judgments. And then when you get a little bit of feedback from even just one person and they tell you how much it's really helping them that I'm talking about these things, it feels really, really good. And I think I'm just finally ready to be in a leadership position where I can own the floor and feel confident and know that even if you think it's stupid that I'm talking about mental health right now, I'm still here for you. So if you need me, I'm here. And that's what I'm ready for. So yeah, talking about those comments today, honestly, really, really nice. I really like that routine of putting these cards into the podcast. So let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do that again. And if you guys are thinking about these questions and you don't have any answers for them yet, I think it's always good to remind yourself that you don't need to have these answers right now. These could be just something that you're thinking about in the back of your mind and considering throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the rest of your life. So you don't need to have answers to these, but they're always good things to just kind of think about. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I really started this podcast with not knowing what I was going to talk about. So I'm proud of myself for finding something to yap about. And I hope it helped you guys. Rate the podcast, subscribe, follow, whatever you can possibly do in this app. Comment, DM me on Miss_SoulShady on Instagram. Or really DM me on any of my Instagram accounts. If you want to hear about anything on this podcast, I got you. The link to everything is in the description, my Amazon storefront. I have Muscle Mommy apparel. I have blog posts. Go check that stuff out. Yeah, everything should be linked in the descriptions. And I'm sorry, I literally never linked the vibrators from last episode in my Amazon. Maybe I'll do like Amazon storefront for that. I don't know. Or I'll just link them on the description. Okay. Anyways, yeah, guys, go listen to my last episode. It was fire. Sex positive talk over here. Go check it out. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I'll see you next Wednesday.